What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and we got Charles Barkley responding to Kendrick Perkins and his comments during the Olympics. Again, when he was on Dan Le Batard's show. Now, this isn't the first time Kendrick Perkins and Charles Barkley has gone back and forth. It started with the Knicks and Jalen Brunson, and during the playoffs, they had a little back and forth with Shaq, Charles versus Kendrick Perkins, but it was all in fun. But one thing Chuck has said both times is said, somebody that averaged 5 points a game can't talk to me. Now, that's one way you could look at it. But also, Kendrick Perkins is an analyst, and it is his job to say what he sees. And he played in the NBA, so that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a good outlook on what he's saying. So we're gonna listen to what Chuck said first to get the response out of Kendrick Perkins, and then we're gonna listen to Chuck's response. Let's peek.
And they shouldn't be tested. They should win. They got the best team. They haven't used the depth the right way because the one advantage we had in '92, and they still have today. When they go to their bench, they're bringing in better players. He has not used his team properly. We should never be a debate on guys getting to play and not getting to play. Listen, you can't. Putting Jason Tatum in an NBA game, he's going to be better than 99% of the guys already in the world, but especially guys who coming from a foreign country. So you just kind of keep your guys on a treadmill and keep them rolling around.
Hey, look, Charles Barkley, one of the greatest power forwards to ever play the game of basketball, one of the greatest players to ever touch the damn basketball, and look, one of the greatest TV personalities ever. But this was just an asinine way of talking about Team USA and what's been going on for us them representing our country. Look, this team has been balling, and they are going to get battle tested, right? The game has become global, right? You got Europeans, they're starting to catch. They have caught up with us. When you think about who Team USA had to battle against yesterday, Jokic is the best player in basketball, right? They had to find a way to grind it out. They earned that win. That was the best game that I've seen in basketball in the last 6 or 7 years, to be honest with you.
You said you were critical of Kerr, and you said that that team should not be tested. And Kendrick Perkins said that was an asinine take. That of course they should
first
be
of all,
tested.
don't bring up a guy who averaged 5 points a game. I'm not going to stoop to his level. You average 5 points a game, shut the hell up. Dan, let me ask you a question. Who was the second best player on Serbia?
No, buddy. Look. I don't think they should have been tested either.
No, but my question was: number one, they got Joker, but the second best player on their team was Bogdanovich. Does Bogdanovich make the United States Olympic team? Under no circumstances he make the Olympic team. I think they played too slow because you could see what Joker was doing. He was milking the clock. He would take the ball out of bounds and roll it up the court. They turned a 40-minute game basically into like a 35 to 37-minute game.
Okay, so you see the contrast in opinions right there as far as, should Team USA have been tested or not? If they play a perfect game, a lot of times they won't be tested with most of the teams. I think they play with their food in some of the earlier games. And also, Kevin Durant wasn't there, and he's a big part of what they do offensively. And KD is one of those guys you could look up and he'll score 14 points in 2 minutes and just show the rest of the world I am this size and I have this skill set, in this environment. You look at him and Melo's skill set for FIBA, they went crazy. And it's a reason because of the nature of their game and the many positions they can play because of their size, but also their ability to shoot and score the basketball prolifically, with that being their first instinct. So, um, should they have been challenged? I mean, you do have someone like Nikola Jokic, and yes, Bogdanovich would not have made Team USA, obviously, if we were just picking from players that play in the NBA and all of them were US citizens. But at the same time, he isn't. So let me say this: the argument for South Sudan playing a closer game, what Chuck would say to that would be more relevant. are prevalent to the conversation because Bogdanovich, he is a guy on the right team who can average 17, 18 points. So he's not like a scrub by no stretch of the imagination. He's not like an all-star caliber, but he is like right under there as far as an offensive player. So I wanted to say that, and I think Jokic obviously is an MVP candidate every year in the NBA. I'm not sure his USA team face players like that. You know what I'm saying? I think was Drazen Petrovic on the '92 Croatia team with Kukoc. I'm trying to think. There was a few guys that played overseas that were pretty good NBA players, but it wasn't like it is today. A lot of the players and the rest of the world is catching up. So not just the players in the NBA, but some of the guys in their countries, they've at the very least come over here and played, high level college basketball. So it ain't like they haven't seen some of these players or played, with them quite a bit growing up. These guys have played a lot more ball. They had like South Sudan had a guy who's probably going to be a top 10 draft pick after his 1 year at Duke, most likely. And although Cooper Flag is getting much of the conversation, about that, there is, the 7-2 kid will probably go in the top 10. So it's not like they don't have talented guys and these guys are just players in that country locally that can't play, at the highest level. And a lot of the players with the top countries that qualify, they'll play in the top overseas leagues. So I think, the world has caught up quite a bit. I wouldn't just dismiss it and say that they shouldn't um, be challenged at all. I do think they did play with their food a little too much in the exhibition games, as Barkley put it. But they handled business and they had no blemishes. At this point, uh, with the forward progression of basketball, if you go over there and you don't lose and you win gold, I mean, you have to tilt your hat to that. I'm more concerned now about the next time, is Anthony Edwards going to progress and become that guy in the NBA, a perennial guy like that by 2028? Who else is going to step up? John Morant probably be on the team if he holds it in a role and stays healthy. You got to look at somebody like Jalen Brunson if he's still playing at this level, which I think he definitely will be, by that time. Um, there's some things to figure out. Jalen Brown, is he going to want to come? Is he going to be invited? Tatum, is Kerr still coaching? Does he feel like he wants to play overseas under Steve Kerr next time? Um, AD said he'll didn't AD say he'll probably play because I think what is it? It's in LA in 2028. So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people wanting to play in it with it being in the state. So I can't necessarily see too many people turning that opportunity down if they're playing at the level to be invited, by Grant Hill and Team USA. So let me know what you guys think about this conversation between Kendrick Perkins and Charles Barkley. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.